Good evening and welcome to Sunday Politics and Trust TV. I'm Shafiu Suleiman. Tonight, we focus on key issues shaping Nigeria's security and stability, as attacks by non-state actors including Boko Haram, bandits and other armed groups continue to rise. First, the reported coup scare that shook the country. The claim of an attempted takeover by some military officers has been dismissed by the military high command. Yet, it continues to fuel public anxiety and debate. At the same time, plans for a nationwide protest demanding the release of IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu have further raised tension. Security agencies have warned organizers against going ahead, citing threats to public order and national security. Tonight, we'll unpack these developments and their wider implications for national stability and regional counterterrorism efforts. And joining us on the program to unpack the issues are Dr. Ayokunle Fagbemi. He is a national security and defense management scholar. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much for having me.
Also joining the conversation tonight is Dr. Sani Aliyu, who's a security and intelligence analyst. Thank you for coming. And let's just go straight into the conversation. Let me start with Dr. Ayokunle. One issue that has been defining, or rather generating discourse among especially security experts and of course the citizens alike, is this rumored coup, attempt, even though it has been debunked by the military high command. It is linked to, what many say was the reason behind, the cancellation of the October 1st, Independence Anniversary celebration. Before we get into the details, let me get your initial reaction to this, as one who has studied, military statecraft, understanding how these things evolve and, what shaped them. Let me get your initial reaction.
This subject matter is an imagined one. It is a national security, intelligence, and defense management subject matter of concern, and, if I may add, of grave concern, even as it is imagined and unfolding, emphatically because when you look at the data, the information in public domain, the first data that came out into public domain indicated that some officers were apprehended and were kept in custody.
Right.
Number two, a particular media organization put this in public domain, right, and then an information was issued by the Defense Information Management System, headed by a certain Brigadier General Tukur Gusau.
Right.
Interestingly, when you take a look at that press statement and you go through the paragraphs therein, you'll discover that there are issues that are very critical and germane that were raised. And this, again, rather than resolve issues, led to a number of queries emerging as well. Paragraph 2, in particular, attempted to say the October 1 Independence Parade was cancelled because the incumbent President Commander-in-Chief had bilateral international engagement. Right. That brings us to querying the level of the commitment of the incumbent towards the Nigerian state, the constitution that is swore to protect, and how much of emphasis, relevance, and commitment it does have to the Nigerian people, the respect. Because for you to say it is because you have an international engagement, right, that you are going to move away from organizing what is supposed to be a major national event. The next issue that comes out, when you take a look at that particular paragraph and you put it in context, you'll discover that we cannot, in any realistic sense, say this was done by the president during that period that tallied with the information there. They need to inform us what actually happened. Again, you'll discover that the information that we are dealing with that is a rebuttal is emanating from the defense headquarters. The impression given by the media outlets that have put this in public domain indicated that they are supposed to be army officers. But the moment the defense information machinery stepped into it, that meant that we must be dealing with a service-wide issue that may suo motu involve not just the army, it must involve minimum of 2 of the services. Should that be the case, then we truly have an issue that we should be concerned about.
Right. Okay, if I understand, the background the picture you're trying to paint is that of, inconsistencies, that of, attempts to cover some certain issues that wouldn't want to be made public and all of that. Okay, let me get to your perspective, Sani Aliyu. Looking at the, what the paper has put in the public domain, alleging that those officers that were said to have been arrested and detained, initially 16 rather, and now expanding to 20, as we heard, was not related to the issue of the coup rumor. Going by, I'm trying to get the presser, put together by the military. Now, saying that those officers were actually having, contentions around their promotions, their failure to meet up with their promotions and all of that. And then, but what we are hearing is that there have been, underground meetings to actualize that attempt, to take over power. Let me get your understanding of this back and forth.
Well, to be very conservatively so, I will not like to say much concerning this so-called debunking. First of all, they say it's a rumor. Some say allegedly, some say the military came to say the defense headquarters are debunking that it's a baseless rumor and so on and so forth. For me, I've taken that side of the military, the defense headquarters, that the debunk is a mere rumor. But as far as we are concerned, whatever it is, let the military know that democracy we fought for must be sustained. We will not tolerate any sort of coup plotting in Nigeria. Nigeria, for all intent and purposes, is a leader of Africa, whether we like it or not. By the way, we are the largest black nation in the world, and then we should be pace setters. Since our democracy, we have been having it very rough, although, but at least we should continue with it. We are improving by the day, so there is no need for truncating this democracy. And I appreciate the Chief of Defense Staff statement, and so I think the military should concern themselves with their military activities and leave and stay out of governance. Simple. Okay,
Doctor, looking at, the fact that this is not the first time where, we are having military takeover scenarios in Africa, in West Africa, and of course in Africa as a whole. As at the last count, we have 9, a series of 9 military takeovers. And though Nigeria has enjoyed relative, democratic stability, some would say, looking at the number of years from 1999, to date. But many believe that it is perhaps also not out of place, to look at issues like this. There has been contentions around governance and governance deliverables. There has been contentions around the impact of governance on the people, because if you look at the report put together by that, in that publication, they're talking about the hardship in Nigeria, people are facing and all of that as a reason behind whatever plot, if actually it happened.
Well, I understand the caution that Dr. Aliyu was trying to bring to bear on the conversation. However, we need to help Nigerians appreciate where we are truly today.
Okay.
Currently, since 2015, we started a journey of totalitarian tiptoeing, which is very unfortunate, and the kind of information management that has been deployed till date hovers around strategic distraction, strategic desensitization, and deliberate misinformation, and baiting and fishing of citizens to begin to have a conversation on subject matter that ordinarily they shouldn't be having. That is of concern. And should this particular episode be one of those, mindful that on Monday, October 13, the DG of National Orientation Agency hosted a press briefing wherein he was speaking on behalf of the security establishment. And then on Friday, we were having a situation that some people were preparing for a protest for Monday. Okay. And all of us are very familiar with the fact that protest marches across the globe often lead to sparking of regime change. It is not impossible that we are dealing with a situation where some people have chosen to deploy strategic distraction, a PRS, totalitarian information management system. Should that be the case, then I will plead with the Nigerian state that the Nigerian state and the management of the Nigerian state should be very careful, because there is this story we read when we were growing up in primary school, that there was a certain young boy who used to cry wolf, wolf, and he will now laugh and say it's a
prank, boy.
It's a prank. But unfortunately, the day the wolf eventually came and he screamed again, nobody paid attention until the havoc was done. We are mindful of the fact that there is need for us to begin to correlate issues. Last week, we had a situation that a certain citizen who is incumbent governor of a particular state decided that he was resigning from the political party that he got elected on. And when he was going to address the media, he presented himself as a governor and mentioned his name that he was resigning. Yeah. By virtue of using the appellation Governor Doye to himself, right, and resigning, as per constitution, without he moving to another political party, right, that same moment, he has technically led to a management crisis of the constitutional provisions, yeah, which meant that ideally he is no longer fit to occupy that office or execute that office, because he has not yet associated with any political party. Right. And if that information was there, one other citizen who is in charge of Enugu as a governor that declared that he was moving from his present party, moved immediately, and within 24 hours it was fully consummated. There was a ceremony, but this other one is leaving us with that. And unfortunately, the first media outlet that was utilized in bringing out this information about the coup scare is from the stable of a certain individual that has been having a running battle with the Nigerian state and is linked with proposing that on Monday we are supposed to have a protest march. And mind you, we have been having a series of issues under the present administration in the last 28 months thereabout that is trying to shrink the civic space, reduce participatory democracy, and if you are reducing participatory democracy, you want to justify it. To be able to justify it and make sure that people don't come out. And mind you, tomorrow, Monday, October 20, is going to be the anniversary of the ENSA protest march that led to the death of citizens, that led to series of judicial panels of inquiry. The output and outcome of those panels of inquiry we are yet to understand. And there are some people that are still being looked for, yet to be accounted for. And If that is anything to put into the basket, it means that the Nigerian state and the managers of the political governance system are toying with Nigerians. And I want to plead with the incumbent president, Bola Tinubu. I think it is time for him to take a step back and begin to engage the process, in the sense that we cannot continue to allow some people use us to play ping pong or turn us into pawns on the chessboard. That is what is happening now, because this school scare that we are talking about appears to be esoteric, appears to be hanging in the air, and appears to be a preventive agenda to ensure that all stakeholders, be they in the law enforcement security system, be they citizens, must not allow themselves from tomorrow to get involved in anything. And mind you, you'll discover that in most of the jurisdictions that protest marches
were restricted.
No.
Okay.
Led to the incursion and insurrection that led to regime change. 5 days is usually what you have. So whosoever planted this data in the materials that we are reading that are in the public domain, first noted that, oh, the thing should have taken place on October 1. It did not occur on October 1. The information of the defense system is saying the October 1 parade was put away primarily because there was supposed to be a bilateral issue that the Mr. President was supposed to. But on record, all of us, you're in the media, and you are familiar with the fact that your station and your newspaper carried the fact that a certain director of information in the office of the Secretary to the government of Nigeria issued a statement explaining why that particular
event did not hold.
It did not hold. Now the Director of Defense Information is now making a statement that is at variance. We have to be very careful. Enough of this playing politics of 2027 earlier than it's supposed to be played. And security is not one of those issues that you used to play,
especially
politics.
Of perhaps of this magnitude. Okay, I think Doctor has painted a picture of a series of events that ought to have been tracked and ought to have been analyzed properly by those in charge of the security architecture. Now, look at it, from the series of events that happened to the correlation with other events that could also have direct impact to what we are witnessing today. But yet, what we are only seeing coming from the state, from the authorities is that, okay, there is restriction of movement, you don't go to certain areas, and then the organizers of some of this, protests, especially the October 20 protest that is scheduled to hold tomorrow, are also saying there is no going back, So, in other words, what Doctor is talking about is the likelihood of breakdown of law and order if things are allowed to continue this way. What do you make up with the response from the government, in terms of handling this very delicate situation?
Well, if you will retract a little back, the last protests, not the NSAS. That is
end-bus governance.
The end-bus governance, right?
Fuel subsidy or something protest that was staged to hold. It was just scantily held, and then everybody was dispersed because of some certain indices recently during this administration.
The last couple of months, I remember.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
Right.
You see, that shows that. I think that is what is giving the government a comfort zone and thinking that it's just a mere threat. Nothing is coming out from that intended protest for tomorrow. But like he said, rightly put it, the government should not take this for granted. Whatever that needs proper attention should be given that proper attention. Otherwise, you don't know how it's going to escalate. You may think it's just a normal, it happened last few months, nothing comes out of it, and every Nigerians fizzle out of the whole situation. But sometimes you give room to people to build up their anger because of lack of attention, lack of attended attention. If, for instance, I'm talking about being attended to on this particular subject, and you are careless about it, you didn't give me the right attention, it builds my anger, and then people began to, think otherwise. And then look at Madagascar, what happened there? It's the protest that the government, the democratically elected government. So you have seen where protests like this that started as just a mere protest, something you think is going to be, is not going to
can be contended,
and then it escalated. In the first place, the government should have resolved whatever the grievances are before tomorrow.
Meaning, because the agitation is that they should free the IPOB leader, Nnamdi Kanu. Is this something that the government can contemplate, looking at also the nature of accusations, or rather, the trial is going through?
September last year, I was privileged to have been invited by the National Association of CDOCs, the Paris Confraternity, to make a presentation, and part of the message I put there, which I eventually shared as correspondences to the security, law enforcement, and intelligence community, was there was a need to address the Nnamdi Kanu subject matter. As it is now, the only thing that can be done can only come through the judicial system. However, the authority in whose custody that this citizen, Nnamdi Kanu, is staying in their facility can do something. And I did draw the attention of the DGSSS last year to this. And I shared with as many people as possible. September last year, 2024. And what is the subject solution? It's very simple. We can move citizen Nnamdi Kanu away from a withholding facility to a safe haven, preferably a 3-bedroom detached bungalow or something like that. And we did that for the head of the Share movement. When you move him into such a facility and he has a little bit of freedom and is comfortable, some of the tensions that are around will die down.
Are you saying that the state is not taking cognizance of some? I understand that he is also free to meet and other.
No. See, there are some few things you do for the optics. Within the next couple of hours, I want to believe that the DGSSS monitors your station. They will listen to this. They can revisit this. I'm ready to make the presentation again. Move him into a safe haven. Let it be known by his lawyers and other stakeholders that he is being moved away from a cell facility to a safe haven apartment, which is comfortable. And then from there, he can go to the courts, hoping that ultimately the political solution or the judicial solution, the legal judicial solution can take place. Yeah. If they do that, some of the issues that we are dealing with will...
Do you think that would douse the tension?
That's the tension. Yeah. Then, in terms of the protest march, one of the few things that I've come to realize in my sojourn in life and my involvement in things like this is that protest marches are usually an attempt to scream, hear us. You don't necessarily need to allow the protest to take place. Between now and tomorrow morning, if some of these things are done, like take for instance, announce that by tomorrow morning, this man has been moved to this, and then this team lead of these protest marches are there to witness where they have taken him, they will know that, okay, and then they can now manage the information of, say, you know, it is only the courts that can do this. Mind you, this last week, and this is where information is very key, They invited the NMA to come and give...
I'm actually coming to that because, if you're talking about, you need to look at the conditions, being given by the organizers of this protest. They want Nnamdi Kanu freed unconditionally. They are not asking for anything less than free Nnamdi Kanu. The other agitation, around his health.
I am a peace-building practitioner.
Right.
Now, you do what is called site formation and grandstanding at a stage. But you know that you must negotiate. What is the common ground? Where is the meeting point for now? The meeting point is that you are ready to improve and enhance the fundamental rights of citizen Kanu by allowing him to be away from a withholding facility to something that is more humane and more free and appealing to the sensibilities of all stakeholders. If you do that, then you can tell them what we need to do is how do we get his legal team and the Nigerian government legal team to come to terms with the need that we can no longer afford the tension around this individual. Can we get a legal, political legal, that is a combination of the political and the legal, in such a way and manner that will help us douse the tension? We can do it.
The court order, for instance, the security agencies, especially the police, were acting on the Federal High Court order, restricting, or rather, restricting the organizers of this event to certain areas. Shouldn't also this be a part of the legal aspect that the government need to explore? The government is not coming out to say, okay, you don't have freedom to move or to associate or to protest, but there is a court order that is limiting you to certain areas. Can that be interpreted to be part of the legal, aspect you're talking about?
Would you want to?
Let me double down on that. I want you to.
If you want me to take it, I'll take it.
Right.
I'm yet to see that court order. So I will believe you as a presenter, a responsible presenter, saying that one exists. If it does exist,
going by what the police is saying, because I agree with the point you are making, because I've also heard the organizer saying that they haven't been served.
If it does exist, it means that, again, we must give kudos to the incumbent Inspector General of Police, who many people don't know. His PhD thesis was actually on the management of the ENSA protest. So when you are dealing with a character like Egbetokun, the incumbent Inspector General, who wrote a PhD thesis on managing and curtailing protest marches, then you know he has his onions. And this is why I'm saying we don't necessarily need to deploy the full weight of law enforcement. Inspector General, let me address you. My brother, there is a need for us to douse the tension. And how can we douse the tension? We can douse it between now and tomorrow morning. Let us move this citizen to a safe haven, a secure facility where all these stakeholders, you can carry them and they will go and see that he is there. When they know that he's there and is a bit relaxed, now give them an assignment with his legal team. Let them work out a modus operandi, a methodology around how to achieve a political but a legally sound arrangement.
Does that exist? Because, I want to believe you're talking about, just like you rightly mentioned, you are looking at solutions.
Solutions.
Yes, but then we're also dealing with laws, for instance.
The laws are very, you see, to grant a bail, it is the discretion of the presiding judge. And usually the presiding judge listens to arguments from the prosecution and the defense. As it is now, we are now dealing with a national interest subject matter We are dealing with a national security matter. We are dealing with a situation where we must address development. And for you to understand the connection with development, you realize that for a long time, we've been having sit at home. And this has affected our economy adversely. We can no longer continue. The incumbent administration is saying we are doing everything we can to improve the economy. If you want to improve the economy, you can no longer continue to have a people deliberately sitting at home.
Yeah.
You must be inclusive and participatory.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, Doctor, Dr. Ayokunle had earlier tried to make in his analysis, trying to link the current situation we find ourselves with the political atmosphere, the tense political atmosphere ahead of 2027, with the stakes, getting higher and higher. Now, also looking at some of the actors, involved in this series of events, and then looking at, because, you can't take away, you can't also take out the fact that there is political connotations to it. We've seen, beyond the organizers of the event, we've had, for instance, a former vice president, for instance, throwing his weight behind this move or this call, for a free Nnamdi Kanu movement and all of that. And again, on the part of the Nnamdi Kanu himself, talking about the Southeast, we've also seen the reaction of the political leaders, dissociating themselves from these moves, from the governors down to all the political players in the Southeast, saying, no, this is not the right way to go. We are also pursuing a political solution to all of this. What do you make up with how the political tension in the country is aiding or is, exacerbating this political instability?
Well, first of all, I would like to appreciate Doctor for his analysis. And I remember during late President Muhammad Buhari's regime, first tenure, I was called upon to mediate between the Ohanese Idibo and the government of the state at that time. That led me to go to Lagos, held meeting with the Ohanese Indibos, went to the east and so on and so forth. All this, like you rightly put it, is political. Okay. Of course, there is element of insurgency. Well, one can say because of Nnamdi Kanu assertions, orders, verbally stating that this person should be burned, that person should be killed, this one, all those were the triggers, perhaps. Those are the wordings or the behavior that actually led to the government classifying him as a terrorist or classifying the IPOB as terrorists. But if you want to look at who is a terrorist? A terrorist doesn't have an address. A terrorist doesn't have an address. But an insurgent has an address. So IPOB, for me, they are insurgents. Because you can trace their address, you can go to their location, you can get them. But can you go and get Boko Haram in any office where they have their building called Boko Haram? So
are you questioning the classification?
No, what I'm saying is the classification was wrong in the first place. So that's why I say it has some political intonations.
But you also mentioned the part of the criminality that goes with this movement.
That's insurgency. Insurgency is different from terrorism. That's why I'm telling you, they are similar. But a terrorist doesn't have an address. An insurgent do have an address. Their behavior is, they have a common denominator. For instance, they attack the state, to trigger the reactions. Okay. Even terrorists do so. So in some places they have similarity. But
so what I'm saying, do you think ought to have been done?
I'm saying now,
differently?
Differently is first we need to sit down. We need to call a roundtable discussion. That's out of court discussion, and then tell Nnamdi Kanu. I've heard Nnamdi Kanu saying that, allow me and I'll stop the madness that is happening in the East, just give me 24 hours, I will stop it. Meaning that he's still in control. So if what is happening is still attached to Nnamdi Kanu wherever he is, then there is the need for experts in mediation to sit with him and discuss with him, like I did with the Ohanese Indigo, when there were a lot of agitation that the Igbo were not carried along during Buhari's first tenure appointment and so forth. And we went there, and I understood what the agitation is all about, and I brought it to the government, and what they did was to quickly amend those, and everything went fine. So there is a need for experts, for the Tinubu's government to deploy experts this time around to actually mediate and see, okay, Nnamdi Kanu, why are you having your people sitting down every Monday, schools, children, and everything, all businesses, the government is losing
shutting down the economy, literally.
So we'll look at
Doctor, because we need to, open the line for our viewers to also come in. It's an interactive session now. Let me get your perspective. Now, earlier, you were talking about the political connotations and, of course, how the agitations, the contention, the interest around 2027 is feeling some of this. How do you think, this can be resolved? Do you think there is need for perhaps an elite consensus around the need first to have the country before 2027 and also, have a kind of resolution that whatever agitations, whatever interests, we have to build, a consensus around national stability?
Thank you very much for this question, and I want to plead with the incumbent President Commander-in-Chief Bola Ahmed Tinubu to kindly understand that now is time for governance, and it is time to engage the political class. Enough of the grandstanding being done by his aides and lieutenants that panicked and allowed partisan politics concerning succession of 2027 to become the most important thing. When Obasanjo came in 1999 at the commencement of this democratic experiment that we are sustaining, he did something, and that was to set up the inter-party mechanism, meaning that he brought every political actor together, and they had an arrowhead that interfaces with them in the presidency, and that led
even
to
in terms of appointment.
He had
more of a national,
he had an officer who was a special advisor on inter-party matters. I want to plead with you, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we need to have you appoint somebody for that, so that you can harvest the political discourse and manage it in such a way and manner that we will have a meaningful dialogue that is not partisan but development focused. When you look at it, what we are doing with ourselves, we are supposed to be discussing sustainable development goals. We are now discussing who is going to win 2027.
Governance has taken
governance has been, we need to again say we must. Two is that you need to allow us have participatory democracy, meaning that we need to have all stakeholders have their say and not get to the level that we will begin to have agitations and grandstanding. You must douse the tension. Please watch it and let us have what is needed to make Nigeria a greater country.
Right, okay. While we open the line for you to call and share your thoughts with us on this very important topic, we'll continue the conversation. As we get your calls, the number will soon be on your screen. Call us, be civil in your comments, and of course, go straight to the point. Stay away from your TV so that we can get you, loud and clear. Before we get the calls coming in, Doctor, yes, Dr. Ayokunle said something very fundamental, the need, to douse tension and the need to have a consensus among the political elites themselves through a kind of dialogue mechanism like the inter-party kind of discussions and all of that. But it is coming also at a time that there is mutual suspicion among the political parties or among the political actors. looking at what is happening right now, the concerns towards one-party state, we've seen the wave of defections that has been hitting the opposition in particular. They are also worried that the ruling party is emasculating, is cajoling, it's harassing, as they put it, opponents, in order to have everyone on the same page with it. Do you think that is healthy for some of these conversations that Doctor is talking about?
Well, first of all, I'm not a politician. I don't know politics, but I think when politics is about conviction, how you are able to sell your product, how you are able to endear people to yourself. If the APC has that style of bringing in people and people start willingly, not forcefully, defecting to APC, so be it. But it is all game of politics. As far as I'm concerned, Nigeria is not a one-party political system. We have so many parties, so whoever wants to go to any party, well, this carpet is there to be crossing. But as far as I'm concerned, there is no need for all this sling, trading, because one, I don't see anything like anybody forcing anybody to come to APC or something. Okay. So as far as I'm concerned, the political parties are free to do what they want.
Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah. Who is on the line?
Good. I'm John. John from Benue State.
From Benue. Okay, go ahead, please.
Yes. I'm so happy for your. Yes. I'm so happy for your conversation this evening.
All right. Thank you.
What I'm saying is this. This present administration left what it's supposed to do. It went doing other things. People see what is happening in Nigeria now. It seems that name of Nigeria will no more exist any longer. Because if you see insecurity is everywhere, they are terrorizing people, killing, a lot of things are happening in Nigeria. And nobody is even talking about it. And nobody cares on what is happening. Look at the masses are suffering. Everything escalated to high. There's no way you get something, you go to the market and buy something at the cheaper rate. And nobody's addressing that. But they are saying that when you push somebody to the wall and he cannot, there's no way for him to move, then what they to that. Well, what they are doing is, they should know what they are doing. What the Nigeria will react on them. So they should be very careful.
Right.
If the president himself should amend his way now, should at least tackle this, the problem that the country is facing. Everybody knows what is happening in the country. And they have forgotten about what is happening. They just allow the country to just be, things to be just happening in the country.
Okay.
And to be happening in the country just like that, which is unfair.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, John, for your inputs. We appreciate it.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Talking about the realities, so, and how some of these things affect the ordinary people themselves. Because bottom line is governance, and governance deliverables. Yes. If I understand what John is talking about.
As far as I'm concerned, the most important thing for us to discuss in all the spaces in Nigeria now is the safety and security of Nigerians. Because,
okay.
Like you
sorry
said,
for the interruption again. We have another caller. Hello. Good evening.
Hello.
Yes. Good evening.
Good evening, please.
Yes. Who do we have on the line?
Yes. Yes, are you listening to me?
Yes. What's your name and where are you calling from?
This is talking from Boku, Benue State.
Oh, okay. Another caller from Benue. Go ahead, please.
Yes, I want to give you my views about Kanu.
Okay. Go ahead.
The issue of Kanu is not a political issue. Kanu's case is purely criminal. Kanu is a criminal. He has killed so many people, even some policemen in his own area.
Well, we have to.
I know those from my policemen who are from my state, here, who were posted there, and they were killed by those people. Kanu jumped bail how many times? He jumped bail, went to Britain, and from Britain he went to Kenya, and he was brought back to Nigeria. You should due process. How do you want a criminal to be given an amnesty in that way? You'll be creating a precedent. If Nnamdi Kanu is released, another person will one day jump up and say he has not been a politician, even from the land.
Okay, thank you very much. I think you made the point. I would have loved the doctor to respond to that.
What I'm saying is, don't waste your time about Nnamdi Kanu. Nothing is going to happen about Nnamdi Kanu. Nobody is going to protest in favor of Nnamdi Kanu.
Okay.
Nnamdi Kanu is a criminal.
Well, it is only by the court of law that can establish that. Anyway, the matter is currently before the court of law. Okay, thank you very much for your input. Let me allow Dr. Aliyu to land. Then I would like you to respond to this, because he's raising also a fundamental question, talking about the nature of the charges, the events that led to the arrest, his attitude while in custody and all of that. I think you need to respond to that. Okay, let me get it.
So like I was saying, the government should consign, all of us, including the government, should consign with the safety and security of the Nigerian state. Because as it is now, no place is any longer safe in Nigeria. When you are talking about the north, you are talking about the east, the west, we have all this sort of problem. And I appreciate the travel of the president recently to Italy, this Agaba process
the Rome
forum, where they discuss about that established by King Jordan II, 2015, on counter-terrorism, and how to see
the regional cooperation.
Yes, regional cooperation, how to prevent and see identify the problems and see how to overcome the gaps, the loose ends, and also. And now that we are saying this now that President Tinubu has gone there, we want to remind President Tinubu that loose end is existing in Nigeria because we don't have any agency.
Right. Okay, Doctor. Before I give you the opportunity, let me take this as a last caller. Hello. Good evening. You happen to be our last caller tonight. Hello. Good evening. Okay. Perhaps.
Good evening.
Yes. Who do we have on the line?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Can you hear me?
Very well. Loud and clear. Your name and where you're calling from?
Yeah, good evening. Hello?
You don't seem to be ready to talk to us. You want to do two things at the same time. Right, okay.
Okay. I appreciate the concern of the caller that alluded to the fact that we need to discuss the matter of citizen Nnamdi Kanu from associated crimes and criminalities involved. However, we need to be very careful when we want to box issues into one corner.
Right.
As it is today, it is on record and it is in public domain, and you carried it, you published it, and all media outlets have published it, where we've had meetings in Zamfara with bandits, and they even came to the meetings with the Nigerian state and government functionaries, law enforcement, security, intelligence, community people present with their firearms.
Right.
Meanwhile, the class of firearms that they had on them were firearms that by the provisions of the Firearms Act, they are not supposed to carry, which automatically means that if the Nigerian state wanted to behave as a competent government in charge of the Nigerian state, they were supposed to have arrested them and prosecuted them for bearing those guns.
Unfortunately, they were bearing arms, but the security agencies were not even bearing arms during the negotiations. It was the other way around.
So when you have some situations and you are looking for a way out, you must be novel, and that is what we are submitting now. I am hoping that Nigerians will begin to understand the need for us to allow Nigeria to be and exist, and development must be our focus.
Okay, development should be our priority, and of course, thank you very much, Dr. Ayokunle Fagbemi, and of course, Dr. Sani Aliyu, for talking to us on Sunday Politics. We appreciate your perspectives, your informed perspectives.